What is up, guys? Welcome back to Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another Walking Dead video. For today, this one we're going to be doing our weekly review for this week's episode of the Walking Dead Telltale game series. This is actually the second last episode for the Walking Dead series that we'll ever review for the Walking Dead video game series. This is for Season 4, Episode 3, Broken Toys.
Everyone's counting on me to step up. I can't let another kid die.
We're not gonna let that happen. I promise.
You don't understand. I'm trying to protect you!
The first person who taught me about survival was Lee.
Okay, guys, so this is going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today. This one, we're going to be doing our weekly review for this week's episode of the Walking Dead Telltale Game Series Reviews. This one's going to be for the Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 3, Broken Toys. Now, this is our second last episode and almost our last review, unfortunately, for the Walking Dead video game series, and I am super, super sad about the fact that we are almost done reviewing this series, and I will be getting into other series, after this. Of course, I'm going to be starting off the Uncharted series, the Michonne game. I will be taking a bit of a break before I get into those, but, those will be coming probably in the next, couple weeks to a month or so. We'll start up those videos, and, honestly, man, I've enjoyed reviewing this series so much. I really, really have. This has been an amazing, amazing series of videos over the last couple months. I've really enjoyed it, not only doing these videos and not only playing the game, but also talking about it on, which I figured I'd mention for this video as well. Tomorrow night, Brian Akeem, a good friend of mine here on YouTube, has a live stream where we discuss the episode. He discusses it, and us as, a community, we all discuss the episode on his live stream. That'll be tomorrow night, so if you guys don't know who he is, go just look up Brian Akeem on YouTube. It should be the first one that comes up, and go subscribe to his channel. He deserves all the support he gets, and honestly, as many of us as we can get on that live stream tomorrow night, the better. So, yeah, anyway, great stuff. So, let's discuss this episode, because I have a lot of things to say about this week's episode. So, alright, so, of course, this episode, really, the big mission about this episode is trying to get Lewis and the others back. Now, I really like in this episode, and this is one thing I had to talk about at the beginning, is that, AJ is he is an amazing character. I mean, honestly, I can't even with his character, he is getting better and better as the episodes go on. And I'm gonna admit, and I'm just gonna say this right off the bat before we actually start talking about the episode in order, AJ made a pretty crazy decision at the end of the episode that I let him do, because I just think it was really, honestly, it was deserved for a certain character. So, we'll get into that. But let's talk about the beginning of the episode all the way through in order, and we'll discuss at the end. So, we start off the episode with the characters, the aftermath of what happened at the end of episode 2. We get to see our characters try to kind of break. Abel is a character that some people can keep alive, or some people killed in the first episode. Now, for me personally, I kept him alive and I questioned him, but he was dying. And I basically mercy killed him, basically, and he gave me the information about the boat and where Lilly and them are staying. So, I mercy killed him pretty much, and that's pretty much the end of his character, unexpectedly for me. I didn't really expect to see him die this early, but they're basically trying to see, they're around the boat basically, and I really, really like some of the dialogue in this is really cool. And we get introduced to a new character named Minnie, who is Ten's sister, older sister, and yeah, we get to see her in this episode, who I don't like her, to be honest. I didn't like her throughout this whole episode, and honestly, I'm not changing my mind now. Honestly, she is the most hated character of this episode for me. But, basically, she's one of Lily's people, but she used to be part of, this group's, community, obviously, Clementine and the others. She used to be part of the group, but now she's part of, Lily's group, obviously. And we can just tell, too, when Lily's, talking with her, that she is very loyal to Lilly and her people. So, that's, unfortunate for, some of our characters that I've known her longer than, Clementine and AJ did. And basically, we get to see James in this episode, the Whisper character that we got to see last episode, and he helps them out, basically. We have the zombie herd that is led by him in this episode, and he almost in this episode, now we go into a little bit of kind of, how he feels about the dead, and how there could be something in the zombies that are kind of still there. Now, I like this aspect a lot, but the better thing about this is that Clementine goes in there and she wears a mask, and we actually get to see in this episode, which I loved, is seeing the perspective of inside the Whisper mask. A+ on that, honestly. That was awesome. And then we also get to see, which also to my surprise as well, we got to see that James, because I thought he was going to leave. I'm going to be honest. I thought James was going to leave. He wasn't going to help them. But to my surprise, he actually leads a whole group of zombies into the, the boat at the end of the episode, which is really, really cool, as our characters put on some walker guts. But before that, we also get to see our characters in the community. They're kind of, they're getting ready, they're getting prepared, and we have a really interesting scene that I want to talk about right now, which is Clementine and what would happen if she got bit and what AJ would do. He would actually let her bite him. Now, this scene is deep, and it's so well done, and honestly, I feel like they're setting something up for the last episode. Obviously, I know you guys can't tell me until I see it next week, but just, my God, if they kill off Clementine next episode, I'm going to be so upset. But I feel like it has to be coming, because why else would the show end like this, or the game would end like this? It really does feel like a show sometimes, But I don't know. I have to say that scene really, I don't know if it's foreshadowing, if it's false foreshadowing, for nothing. It's just kind of a random conversation between the two. But I don't know. I still I feel like that, and that's really dark, But would AJ be able to shoot Clementine like Clementine shot Lee in Season 1, or would AJ, maybe just kind of not be able to? That's something I'm really interested in seeing, like the Carl scene in The Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 9, when he thinks Rick is a zombie, and he's like, I can't, thank goodness for him, Rick was still alive, but, who knows, I don't feel like Clementine's safe. I feel like something's gonna happen to her in this last episode, and I'm honestly so nervous right now to see what happens. So, now, I want to talk about my favorite scene of this episode, because it definitely was, and maybe some people say, why was this your favorite scene? Something about this scene with Clementine and the dream sequence of Lee, it just, man, honestly, I was like, my God, that scene is just, it's gold, honestly. And as soon as we saw Lee, I was like, oh, man, what are you doing to me, Telltale, I love the scene. I thought it was absolutely amazing. He basically talks, but it's like her younger self, like Clementine, it's like her younger self, and all of a sudden she grows up in front of him, and he's like, wow, that type of thing. And you got people that need you, he's saying, that type of deal, and she doesn't really know how to handle that. Clementine, it's a lot of pressure on her. She doesn't exactly know how to deal with it, and I love it, honestly. That scene between the two of them is easily the best scene of this episode, and I kind of knew that Lee was going to be in this episode in some sort of way because of the trailer, but at the same time, and we saw him, man, I was like, wow, honestly, and Lee looked a little different in this episode too. Does anybody else notice that Lee looked kind of older and different, like as if it has been a couple years, I don't know. I like how they did that. They made Lee look aged a bit more, like a couple years more, aged. I think that's really cool what they did there. So, basically, we get to see in this episode as well, the characters put on the walker guts. So James leads the zombies in, they put on the walker guts, Clem and the others, and they go in, and basically we find out, and this is a crazy dark part of the episode, is that they're going through, they're killing some of the people, and it really reminds me of The Last of Us a lot. Did anybody else get Last of Us vibes when Clementine's going through and she's sneaking in, and there's a bunch of guards, and she's trying to sneak up and kill them? I don't know, I got Last of Us vibes with that one, but, preferably Last of Us 1, because we all know how I felt about The Last of Us 2, but, yeah, I don't know, really, really great scenes, though, with that, and, basically, to make a long story short, they go in there, they get locked up, and they get locked up with, Lewis and, the others, so they're all together, but they're all locked up in a cell, and, the unfortunate part about this as well is that Lewis, and I did not see this coming at all, we get to see that Lewis's tongue got cut out. I was like, oh my God, Lilly needs to die, honestly. And, I felt so bad for him when because I'm like, wait, what's going on with him? And then I'm like, oh, crap, really dark. So, of course, Clementine figures it out, as she always does, and, they do get out of there after a good while of struggling, but, man, honestly, and the story with Lilly and her, maybe wanting Clementine to join, it doesn't work, as I'm sure Lilly probably expected, and, basically, we get to see the death of Minnie in this episode as well. Clementine gets out, hits her with the, the door or whatever of the cell, and we have, Violet that basically, puts her down, basically, and I just, I love that scene. I thought it was really great, and Minnie as a character, I didn't like her, but, whatever, that's neither here nor there, honestly, but I just didn't like her as a character. Now, the ending of this episode, we have James that gets caught. We have the characters that are basically, a lot of them are kind of in, harm's way. And Clementine versus Lilly happens. Now, I love this scene so much. I thought it was absolutely amazing. And Clementine does pretty well in this fight. But basically, she has the opportunity to kill, Lilly. But basically, AJ points the gun at Lilly. Now, this is an option that could go either way. And I'm sure a lot of people, they could, go either way with this. But basically I decided to kill, I decided to have AJ kill Lilly. I think that honestly, after all the stuff she did, after everything she put our characters through, screw it, honestly, and I had that happen. And then at the end of the episode, which is an absolutely terrible cliffhanger, but I love how it was done, so I'm not going to complain about it too much, we have the bomb that goes off that they set earlier on in the episode, and, what's going to happen now is kind of the big question in this episode. And, man, I absolutely loved this episode. I mean, all the way through, this episode had amazing scenes. It had, some great stories as well from, like, Violet about her grandmother and the death of her, and then also just, even finding out in this episode, James is gay as well, which we didn't know as well either. Just a lot of shocking moments, crazy scenes. Lilly, yes, I had her killed in this episode. I just couldn't deal with her anymore, and honestly, she was a brutal character, and she needed to get killed, in my opinion. So when the option came, I took it. But if you guys want to discuss this episode more with me, go watch Brian Keem's live stream this Wednesday. I'll talk with you guys in the chat more about this episode, as well in the comments section of this video as well. So I love this episode, guys. I absolutely love this season, and honestly, I'm ready. I'm pumped for this last episode of the Walking Dead Telltale Game series. So of course, if you guys enjoyed this review, of course, if you're new here, click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my Walking Dead videos. Follow Dan's Walking Dead reviews on Instagram, guys, and of course, I'll see you guys really soon for some more Walking Dead videos. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
Anybody out there?